I really want you, Jesse, to put on the presidential cap right now, because the one thing that we really try to emphasize on this show is just how powerful the executive branch really is. There is an insane amount. I can't even begin to describe how much misinformation is put out there.
Like Biden can't do this, can't do that.
Or that Biden has done the most executive orders in a first term. Like, have people not heard of FDR? Like, do people not realize that this guy did like 4,000 executive orders in his presidency and Biden has done 70? Like, the rewriting of history is incredible. But as the chief executive, you would have immense power. So something as simple as using the bully pulpit. Like right now, if you were president, what would you be out there saying regarding, let's say, the gun debate? Like, what would be a sensible conversation to the American people to say, this is what would make sense for the most, for the majority, overwhelming majority of the country. And you can do that through a litany of different items. Something as simple as decriminalizing cannabis, which I know you and Jen would love, but in the case of just starting with the gun reform, if you were the commander in chief, what would you be doing right now?
Well, I've taken a new position on the Second Amendment in light of what's going on in the world and in light of these mass shootings that are going on. And my new position on the Second Amendment is this. I believe everyone should be able to buy whatever weapons they want to buy that are legal. You know, we don't allow full automatic right now, so you can't get full automatic. They have this assault weapon. Let's get rid of assault weapons. But the reality is an assault weapon is not any more deadly than a high-powered deer hunting rifle. They truly are not. They shoot one bullet at a time, and but assault weapon looks worse, and it does the damage. But here's my new position. You can own all the weapons you want. You can own them all. And you can sit on your private property and you can be Donald Trump. And you can put on a Rambo headband and you can sit there and look like Rambo and sit there with your AR-15 and do all the stuff you want to do on your own front step. But my new position is this. No guns allowed in public unless that gun and person are properly registered and licensed to carry. No more guns in public. You can have them on private property all you want. If you're a hunter, you load them up in your car, you take them apart. You drive them to where you're going hunting, and you put them back together when you get there. And then you disassemble them in all modes of travel so that they are no longer operable. That is my new position on the Second Amendment. Own all the weapons you want on your own private property. But if you're going to be out in public with a weapon, that you have to be duly licensed to carry that weapon. And because, see, I was the author of Conceal and Carry in Minnesota. And what did I do? I made it shall issue, because before that it was up to the police chief. Well, that's too subjective. If you're down in the city, you can't get one. If you're in northern Minnesota, up where the deer are at, they hand them out like popcorn. So what I did was shall issue. You had to pass an accredited gun training course. You had to go to the range and shoot a minimum of 70. You could have 0 alcohol in your system while you're carrying, and you cannot, carry that weapon and drink or do any alcohol or any drugs of any type. So if you have strict things like that in the use of the weapons, you're not going to have crazies out there carrying them to begin with. And if they are, they'll be in violation of the law. So that's my new position on the Second Amendment. Own all you want on your own private property. That way you can defend your house against anybody, including the government, who's going to come down on you, which is why the Second Amendment was written, because the British used to come over here and occupy our houses and take our stuff. That's why they have the Second Amendment. And so this still allows that, but what it does is it stops guns out in public. That's the way it is in Mexico. You can't have a gun in public in Mexico, or you go right to Mexican prison.
What would be your position as far as executive orders go? There is a lot of things we've talked about on the show. We really try to hone in on the most concrete message, that is corporate special interests absolutely own our government. It is the biggest reason why we don't have anything. Medicare prices were just increased 14.5%, the largest increase in our nation's history. Why is that? Well, could it be the $47 million in campaign money that the Biden administration took as a result of running for president? You know, to me, it is so easily correlated when you look at how this money completely dissolves any semblance of a working democratic republic. We do not have that now. This is full-blown oligarchy. But if you were president, you would have the authority to decriminalize cannabis. You could expand Medicare to everybody during a healthcare emergency. You could declare a national emergency via the building a clean energy grid because of the climate crisis. There are so many things that the president could do, and yet people are twiddling their thumbs thinking, oh, Joe just doesn't, he just can't do it.
It's Joe Manchin's fault.
Yeah. It's of course the president could do it. He just doesn't because
he doesn't care to.
Well, that's true too.
Well, they're all paid off. That's the problem. You had a Supreme Court that made a ruling that said money was free speech. Now, excuse me, if you bribe someone in the private sector, you go to jail. But you're perfectly fine in bribing people in the public sector. That's called a campaign contribution. So see, the problem arises from the Supreme Court again. You got these 9 people that sit up there. They can never leave. They're there for life. And they get to make all the decisions that have some of the greatest impact on our daily lives, like calling money free speech. Well, then why can't you go rob the bank and say you're just exercising your free speech? You're just going there to get some free speech. You know, if that's what money is, which is we know is bogus. And so the minute that they allowed that, say goodbye to your elections, because these guys are nothing more. That's the one thing I can say. And I think you guys should know this. When I ran for governor of Minnesota, do you know how much money I raised?
It wasn't a lot.
That's one of those things he would like. Yeah, he knows. Like
you don't need to know. 300,000.
Yeah,
and it was all done in $50 donations from citizens.
That's less money than we raised.
$50 ain't going to get you in the door. You know, if you think you can donate $50 and the governor's going to then give you a half hour next Tuesday, it ain't going to happen. You know, and so the first thing I did when I got into office, I pulled my staff together and said, look, I didn't take any PAC money. I don't have any special interest money controlling me. So therefore, I don't want to meet with any lobbyists at all. And I put the word out, lobbyists weren't welcome. And oh my God, you should have seen how they wanted me gone. I mean, these are how they earn their living. They earn their living getting access so they can bribe the public officials.
That is a great place to wind down the conversation, guys. One of the things that we have noticed in the time that we've been involved in politics, I don't think people really understand how much the consultant class is a cottage industry in politics, and it works on both sides. But the big difference between the Republicans and Democrats, Jesse, in the Republican Party, if you're a consultant, you better be a winner, because if you don't win, you're done. In the Democratic Party, you can be a 10-time loser and they'll still hire you for the job.
Well, remember this, though, too. The money people, right, that provide the dough to both sides, remember, they go to both conventions. It's like a football game. If you bet on both teams, you don't lose, do you?
Correct.
There you go. So what they've done, they'll go to the Democratic convention, payola there. Then they go hit the Repubs, payola there. So it doesn't matter to them who wins. They've got both sides paid off. And the only time that don't happen is when somebody like me comes along.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.